I was telling you, Ray, that I hear a lot of people talking about Miami. Basically, all the tech community, venture capitalists, they're moving all there. What's going on?
UP Hour Speciale Crypto è organizzato da UP Gang e Marco Montemagno in collaborazione con Leontech. Con una diversificata gamma di oltre 800 certificati quotati in Italia, Leontech offre soluzioni di investimento adatte ad ogni risparmiatore. Visita il sito certificati.leontech.com, esplora un universo di prodotti e seleziona quelli più adatti alle tue esigenze. Leontech, tecnologia ed innovazione al servizio del tuo portafoglio.
Well, people are sick and tired of San Francisco, number one. They have not done a good job keeping this city clean, and a lot of the energy is fading out. Silicon Valley is not the center of the world anymore. And after 2008, New York kind of lost its status as Rome, financial capital of the world. I believe it moved to London. So what you're seeing in America is a lot of the tech bros, especially the crypto people, are choosing Miami. And you're seeing the brain power of the city rise. You're seeing the hustle of it rise, but there's still that same beautiful Latin flavor here. So it's a great combination. I've moved to Miami as well, and I can't argue with it. It's an amazing place. Every day I meet some amazing people right in Midtown who love crypto, who are libertarians. These are Americans as the values of America were founded, and that spirit is strong and alive here in Miami.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. I definitely have to have a trip there. Now it's possible also to fly. It was difficult until a few days ago, but now it's possible. So Miami is in my list. And we are talking about this crypto revolution. By the way, I was watching the pump just, 10 minutes ago, and there is a new all-time high. So it is a big, big moment for all the crypto community. Can you help me, Ray, to explain to my audience what Paxful is doing and what is different if I compare it with, for instance, another exchange?
Sure. It's an important topic. So there are basically two narratives in the world of cryptocurrency. The first narrative is all about the price of Bitcoin. Everyone's very focused on the price. That's where you see those laser eyes. They're laser focused on 100K USD as a value of one Bitcoin. Nothing wrong with that, but when you base everything on speculation, and indeed a lot of speculation is driving up the price, it's a highly manipulated market. What we've seen recently is the introduction of Bitcoin ETFs, which has helped the price grow. So you're seeing this first narrative is all about the price rising. And that's fine, but there's another narrative. And that narrative is Bitcoin being used every single day by people, almost most of them in the emerging world, Africa, India, Southeast Asia. And they're not using it as a means of investment or speculation. They're using it for real use cases, payments, remittance, wealth preservation, and commerce, right? These are the real use cases of cryptocurrency. And the question is, why do they have these real use cases on a day-to-day level and people in the West do not? Because the first narrative of speculation comes from the West. It's Bitcoin is a store of value. But in the emerging world, it's a means of exchange. And the reason that exists is because people in the emerging world are suffering under what I like to call financial apartheid. They do not have access to the money system that we enjoy. We can't imagine the limitations that they live under. For example, if you're in Nigeria or most parts of Africa and you get a bank card from your bank, Visa or MasterCard, you're limited to $100 a month you can spend online with it.
Wow.
You can maybe buy one Xbox game, but you're certainly not buying a whole Xbox, right? And there's many other limitations as well. If they want to wire money out of the country to say do import or export, they cannot. It's extremely difficult for them to do that because their central bank keeps a strong hold on it. They want to keep all the foreign currency in their economy as well. Even if they want to order things online from e-commerce sites in the West, they can't because of all the fraud as well. In fact, let's take Africa, for example. There are 2,000 payment networks in Africa. Only 3% of them actually talk to each other. M-Pesa is the number one online wallet in Africa. It started off in Kenya and exists in 7 countries in Africa. But you can't send money from an M-Pesa account in Kenya to an M-Pesa account in Ghana.
So, so let's say that interoperability is not really the thing there.
Yeah, it's easier to load up a suitcase full of cash, get on if you want to send money just to the country right next door. It might only be 40 miles away. And these are the challenges that people live in. So they need something to help them cross these borders. They need something to help them access outside liquidity, and that's Bitcoin. So, for example, in 2017, the Nigerian central bank forbid outgoing wires. So all these small business people that were sending, sending money to America as a wire just to buy a used car and sell it back home, their business was stopped. And they all typed, Bitcoin into a search engine, just trying to discover what's going on. I'm the CEO of Paxful, but I do business. I mean, I do customer support every single day. So I'm talking to these people. I found out what the situation is, and I tell them, okay, if you want to buy this car in America, it's $5,000 car. They have to pay an auction house, but they can't because they can't wire the money out and they don't have a bank account in America. Get $5,000 worth of Bitcoin and sell it to a guy in the United States on the platform, and he will send the money for you from his bank account to the auction house's bank account. And when the deal is done, you give him the Bitcoin. Boom, deal is done. You can do that in America. You can do that in the UK. You can do that in Europe. I use it all the time. I don't have a bank account in UK, but I sell Bitcoin to someone in the UK in Essex, I believe. And he pays all my invoices for me from his bank account, his Barclays bank account, to whoever I need to pay in the UK. It clears in.
And if I understand correctly, Ray, in this case, Paxful act as an escrow that you guarantee that it will happen, that transaction, and you don't release the money until it is proved that it's happened, something like that.
Exactly. So the difference, the value that Paxful provides over meeting someone on WhatsApp or Telegram is that we can escrow the Bitcoin. So that Paxful, that guy has the Bitcoin because we're telling you that he does have it. So the guy with the fiat money, the bank transfer, he goes first. And once he provides proof that the trade's been made, the other guy releases the escrow and the deal is done. The Bitcoin goes from first guy's wallet to the escrow. They do the deal, then it goes to the other guy's wallet, and the deal is complete. That's the value of Paxful offers. And if there's any disputes, our moderators will attend to it. So Paxful is basically three things. It's a listing service like Craigslist, where anyone can list their barter for money offer. That's essentially what Paxful is. It's barter for money. Someone can say, hey, give me a $100 Amazon gift card, and I'll give you $70 worth of Bitcoin.
I see.
And you can start the deal with them, do the trade through the escrow, deal is done, and it goes to wallet to wallet. So it's a listing service, an escrow service, and a wallet. And those three things essentially create this people-powered marketplace for money transfers, which essentially functions as a universal translator of money. Any form of money can be turned into any other form of money. For example, we support 400 payment methods. So you can buy Bitcoin with bank transfer, an online wallet like a PayPal or an M-Pesa in Africa, or cash, or a gift card. And then once you have the Bitcoin, you can sell it and get another gift card, or a bank transfer somewhere else, or a PayPal deposit in the UK. Any form of money can become any other form of money anywhere in the world. And I credit the peoples of Africa for having the ingenuity and the resourcefulness to figure all that out for us. We just watched them and learned.
You are a Google Translate for money, basically, something like that.
Exactly.
Well, one question. You said that let's say in the West, or I think also here in UK or in Europe, the idea of Bitcoin is a store of value. So it's an asset that is appreciating, and there are 21 million Bitcoin, so you invest there. The Michael Saylor approach. So the store of value is a property, is a digital scarce digital asset, and you invest there. And then demand will be massive, the price will go up. That's it. But you say, for instance, in Africa or somewhere else, they use it as a mean of exchange. Do they use Bitcoin, or do they use like stable coins, or what's your take on this? Because if it's really 21 million Bitcoin, it's true that with Lightning is obviously everything changed about the possibility that you can exchange and sell Bitcoin. But what's your take on this? So what will happen? Will be more and more used in that way, or when people realize that the value is going really high, they will stop selling and using Bitcoin and go on something else? How does it work?
Okay, it's a great question. So number one, you can transact in any portion of a Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You don't have to sell a whole Bitcoin. You can send $10 worth of Bitcoin,
Yeah.
$1 worth of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is very, very liquid, right? Meaning it's constantly in flux. It's moving around. So there's enough liquidity for everyone. The biggest challenge we had when going into Africa was getting the first Bitcoins into Africa. So it's very difficult to get money out of Africa. So how do you get the Bitcoins in to Africa? We solved that with a kind of hack. We showed Nigerians how they could get gift card codes and connect them with Chinese gamers. And that hack brought in like 40 to $60 million a week of Bitcoin coming into the country. So once that problem is solved, we have a very liquid economy over there. So I forget the rest of your questions, actually.
No, I wonder if it will stay like that, or
Stable.
then they will see a price going up and then they will stop using Bitcoin and they will go on something else.
Yeah, well, the problem with Bitcoins is right now, if you want to send Bitcoin off on-chain, meaning outside of Paxful, you pay a very high fee right now. The mining fee of Bitcoin is so expensive. So because of that, people use Ethereum. The problem is Ethereum's price is also very high as well. Ethereum can travel over 3 different networks. It can travel the Ethereum network, which is expensive, the Bitcoin Omni network, which is also expensive, and also the Tron network, which a lot of people are choosing now as well, just to save on the price of sending the Ethereum. But what we've noticed is most Paxful users in our biggest market, which is Nigeria, prefer Bitcoin, just because we love Bitcoin. At Paxful, we supported only Bitcoin for our first 5 years. It was only in the last year that we added stable coins like Tether and also Ethereum because of customer demand. We do that because we believe in being socially and financially responsible. We're not going to add just a whole bunch of silly coins like Doge and Shiba so people can speculate and lose their money on. We have an ethical responsibility to protect our users. Well, as far as stablecoins, I think stablecoins are going to have a very, very big future. Our plan is really to get every stablecoin in the world onto Paxful. And the reason for that is people need exposure to these foreign currencies, well, not having to go through their bank, right? You might need exposure to the currency, but you don't actually need it in your bank account unless you're buying a house or something like that.
Yeah.
But what we're going to start to see, I think, is banks are really going to become far less and less used as long as people can get exposure to these foreign currencies on the blockchain. Everything will just the blockchain, and the peoples of Africa are moving very, very fast. The same way Africa leapfrogged over landlines straight to mobile. I think we're going to see the same thing with blockchain, and it's happening already.
How do you see regulation in this? Is this something that you see favorably, or Gary Gensler in the CEC? How do you say SEC? In Italian, we say SEC. SEC. But what will be his take on this way of translating money? Is it something already discussed and regulated, or what do you expect?
Okay, so a little background here. The SEC is a civil enforcement agency in America, and they only can really work over securities. They can't put anyone in jail. According to Gary Gensler, everything is a security except for Bitcoin or Ethereum, or unless he explicitly states it's not a security.
Wow.
So that's problematic for these exchanges, like that want to list all of these other coins to aid in speculation. But for us, it's not really an issue. Because clearly, USDT, Bitcoin, Ethereum are not securities, and they're enough for people to transact with. So for Paxful, it's not a problem. For Paxful, the price of Bitcoin or Tether or Ethereum or whatever, Ethereum doesn't really matter, because even in a bear market, when everything's going down, you see all the volumes of the exchanges going down in a bear market, Paxful's volume is always rising steadily upwards. And that's because more and more people are discovering organically every single day the power of cryptocurrency to help them in their day-to-day lives. So it's natural growth. In fact, when the price goes up, it actually slows down volume a little bit, because people don't want to get in at too high a price, actually. So it's quite the opposite of what happens with these centralized exchanges. And that's because Paxful is peer-to-peer. And I want to make this clear to everyone. The first words of the Bitcoin white paper were peer-to-peer electronic cash. That is what Bitcoin is. That is how it began, and it started all of this. This whole movement is peer-to-peer. Just like Uber Airbnb. If you can share your spare room and your car and your time with someone, why can't you share a bank account to help them make a payment? It's about
Got
time.
it. El Salvador is another interesting topic. You have a great view on all of these countries. Which country do you think will come next? And how do you see this El Salvador Bitcoin adoption?
Well, when the news about El Salvador happened, I got on a plane the very next day, and I was blessed to meet some amazing people. We have an amazing team in El Salvador. Shout out to Will. And we're opening up a Bitcoin center right now in San Salvador, the capital city.
Oh,
It'll
wow.
be a massive Bitcoin center. It's our way of giving back. I met my co-founder of the Bitcoin Center in New York. And really everything that we do is about boots on the ground and is about education. My mother was always saying, education, education, education. I went to public school and I didn't really appreciate the education I got there. So I didn't really believe her, but she was right, as moms often are. The way
Yeah.
we win this thing is by educating the people. They first have to understand the problem that exists and the possibility of a far, far better world as long as we fix this problem. Because the truth is, no other problem matters unless we solve the money problem. Thanks to the inspired leader of El Salvador, Central America has a great start on that. There is tremendous merchant adoption in El Salvador. We're working directly with the government and the Chamber of Commerce and merchants on the ground, and they're all adopting Bitcoin via Lightning. Right now they all want to change the Bitcoin immediately into US dollars, stable coins, so they can go about their business. But what we're starting to see is a lot of them are just tucking a bit away, around 13% away for every transaction. And I think it's going to make them very wealthy. So Brazil could be next. And if Brazil comes along, that would be absolutely, that would be a massive event. I wouldn't count on that for a little bit because, when you make a big move like that, you are really kind of shooting out a flare of defiance, right? And Uncle Sam doesn't like that.
I mean, that would be a really massive, massive event, El Salvador, the perception, at least here, UK, Europe, I would say, all right, okay, they do this experiment, blah, blah, blah. But, if Brazil adopt Bitcoin, I mean, that would be massive. Can you help me, Ray, to explain Lightning network and why it's important? Maybe people watching this interview could think, I mean, why the Bitcoin was not enough? Why do you need this layer, this technology?
So all Lightning is just a layer on top of Bitcoin that allows us to send the Bitcoin faster. So it's instant instead of taking up to 10 minutes. And it's much, much cheaper. So no matter what the price of Bitcoin is, it'll cost you fractions of a cent or a few cents maximum to send the Bitcoin, as opposed to $25 or $30 is what it costs right now. And that's all Lightning is. Lightning is technically difficult to implement for exchanges because it requires you to have kind of liquidity on both sides of the channel that you open up. And we're seeing most of our Lightning use right now. We started supporting Lightning several months ago. We're one of the first exchanges to do it. We've always supported the idea of Lightning, but most of its use is currently in El Salvador, right?
Right.
So we're working to improve that. We want to create a kind of Lightning network in Africa. But just to make things clear to people, Lightning does not enable instant remittances because you can send money via Bitcoin. It doesn't really matter if it's 10 minutes or 10 seconds, right? It's not a huge deal. The big deal is the off ramps, right? If someone is sending Bitcoin from America to El Salvador, for example, the family member over there still needs, whether they get it in 10 seconds or 10 minutes, whether it costs them $20 or 20 cents. 20 cents is really better, but they still have to turn it into US dollars on the ground, meaning that they need to sell it to someone and get cash.
Right.
They really can't spend it yet for now. So that's the distinction between Lightning. It's a cheaper, faster way to send Bitcoin, but it doesn't solve all the problems, and there's quite a few challenges. But Bitcoin on Lightning is actually our best hope to replace the SWIFT banking system of international global, settlements. So that would be a huge win for humanity going forward because Africa still depends on SWIFT for Pan-African settlements, and it's completely broken.
What do you need to get there? What are the requirements to get to a global adoption?
Global adoption of Lightning or Bitcoin?
Yeah, Lightning. Yeah.
So there's some technological limitations because, like I said, when you open up a Lightning channel, right? If I'm opening a channel, but say you have a company, I have a company, and we open up a channel between us, so that way any of our users that are sending money from Paxful to Monty's network or Monty's network to Paxful, it clears instantly via Lightning, and it's super cheap on chain, right?
Yeah.
Say, our users are sending 10 Bitcoins a day from Paxful to Monty, and your users are sending 10 Bitcoins a day from Monty to Paxful. We would have to fund that channel with 10 Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Initially. So we have to put up the money first, so then we can move that money back and forth, right? That's the only challenge, is providing the initial liquidity there and a few technological issues. Besides that, it's just the will of the networks to support this technology.
Got it. China, what's going on? I saw on Paxful also, and then you mentioned also the hack through China at the beginning. But what's the situation there? I just read about the ban, another ban, and what's your take on it?
My take is the Chinese government likes to play games. They like to throw out red herrings, and it doesn't really matter. They banned Bitcoin mining. Can't stop Bitcoin. It all moved over to Texas, to Georgia, to wherever it might go. We're setting up Bitcoin mining in Africa now.
Right.
So I think it was a great move. Whatever, lies or FUD, that the Chinese government puts out, it doesn't really matter in the end. It'll cause a news headline. The price will go up, then go down, then go down. So everything recovers. Even a big government like China cannot stop Bitcoin. And that should give people a lot of confidence.
Got it. What's the craziest exchange, translation of money that you have seen on Paxful that you would have never thought about it? Is it something particular that you thought, wow, this is important? I never thought about, exchanging this for that.
There's so many. I mean, every day on Paxful, we see crazy new trade routes opening up, like Dominican Republic to Rwanda, Chad in Africa to, Chile. Like you see all these things happening, and the payment methods will switch up from, gift cards to Western Union to bank or whatever it might be. And what they're exactly using it for, it really varies, right? Like Venezuelans have become very clever at being able to do whatever they need to do. For example, one guy set up a service to allow Venezuelans to get Netflix accounts using Paxful and Bitcoin, right? Whatever it might be, people are trading all kinds of things. Because Paxful is really barter for money, so you can use Bitcoin to leverage any other kind of money. But people are also offering goods and services on Paxful as well. People are selling their time to be able to do, virtual assistant tasks and earn Bitcoin as well. So we're seeing a huge explosion of just human ingenuity that can be funded abroad. A lot of big companies all over the world, they always want to tap into the immense talent of the emerging world, like Latin America, Africa, etc., India, but it's very hard for them to pay people over there. Now that they can do it easily, and that people over there in the emerging world, they know what to do with the Bitcoin. Once they have it, they can turn it into whatever they want. Things are really opening up. So this gives me a tremendous amount of hope and real confidence in the future of the world. So the first time ever, we're seeing the possibility now for humanity to just create rampant and massive wealth. All money really is work, human work, put into a container that can transcend time and space. And now for the first time ever, we have the ability to put all these brilliant, young, unemployed people around the world to work, to move this money around that was illiquid and trapped in the West, and move it into the emerging world to get all these brilliant young people working. That is a recipe for rampant prosperity and wealth. The best thing that Bitcoin taught me, besides what money actually is that poverty is an artificial social construct imposed on humanity. If you leave humans alone with honest money, the result is rampant prosperity. And that is actually, I think, the craziest thing it, right? Like we live in a world where we're always in a mindset of scarcity. We believe that poverty is just, a part of life, but no, it's quite frankly the opposite. And that's what
Yeah.
Bitcoin has shown me, and that's what Paxful has shown me, because Paxful is all about the people on the ground. It's real human beings use it every day, and they will find a way to solve every little problem possible as long as they have the ability to trade freely.
That's really, yeah. That's really interesting, Ray. Final question to end our conversation. What about companies? I've noticed that, for instance, for a company like a UK LTD, limited company, if you want to move some money of your balance sheet into Bitcoin, I mean, it's still not so easy. Of course, you do it, but you have KYC, and the fiscal regime is not so easy. So there are a lot of complications. What do you see on the business/company side? Is Paxful there, apart from paying employees or collaborators around the world? Do you see anything interesting there?
Absolutely. So, the UK is becoming a bit harder to deal with crypto regulatory wise. But look at Nigeria. Nigeria, the government put a permanent ban. Well, not permanent, hopefully it'll be gone soon. They put a ban on any of their banks from dealing with cryptocurrency exchanges or businesses. Right?
Wow.
Why did that happen? There's a lot of reasons why it happened, but if you think about it, January 2020, remittances into Nigeria were 2.5 billion. By September, it went to 55 million. It's a huge decrease, not just because of COVID, but because Nigerians figured out, hey, wait a minute, I can save 20% of sending money back home if I send with Bitcoin. And they just went at it like crazy. The bank was like, holy shit, we got to stop this. We got to slow it down. But they can't slow it down, because when they forbid their banks from doing business with cryptocurrency exchanges, peer-to-peer volume spiked 20, and it's just going higher and higher. You can't stop peer-to-peer. It's easy for them to cut the head off any one movement, but they cannot stop an army of mosquitoes, right? And that's what peer-to-peer is. Bitcoin is peer-to-peer money. These peer-to-peer marketplaces like Paxful and all these other networks, they give the people an alternative. And it's not just the people that can use it. Businesses can use it as well, right? Anyone can use it, especially in the emerging world. You see businesses are the biggest users of it for issues of commerce, right? Merchants in the emerging world can access buyers in the West with Bitcoin, because sometimes they can't even get a Visa or MasterCard merchant account over there unless they have a bank in Europe or America, right? So they turn to Bitcoin, right? So businesses are going to come over as well. Peer-to-peer is for everyone. It's not limited to just people or people in the emerging world or people in the West. It's absolutely the best hope that humanity has right now, because if you think about it, this is the first time in human history that we have all the tools necessary at our disposal to institute a global prosperity pandemic, right? That's really what we have. We have the first time ever peer-to-peer as a concept is ingrained in everyone's mind. We're okay with getting into a stranger's car or renting out a stranger's bedroom, right? We have peer-to-peer electronic cash, this amazing invention called Bitcoin, right? And we have this amazing social movement of millions of Bitcoin believers, evangelizers, and educators around the world. Plus, you have these marketplaces like Paxful that can actually put all that plumbing together and connect everyone. You put all this together, and the result is we're finally going to have a free market for money, which is the only thing that has held humanity back for these past 100 years. If you just give people free, honest money and free trade, they will create the wealth for themselves. They don't need food packets and handouts and charity. That wealth will get created, and we are entering this phase right now. You can keep watching the price of Bitcoin, but I suggest you don't watch it every day. You can watch it every 2 years, and it'll be greater and greater, especially now that it's not just speculation. It's really beings using it every single day. And soon the whole world's going to realize, but I think the West will realize it last, because they'll be fighting it till the end. But people in the emerging world don't care about that. They just want to move forward. That's what this is about, moving forward.
Great. Thank you so much. It was a fantastic chat. Really, I learned a lot. Thank you, and keep in touch. I'll see you in Miami as soon as I can.
I hope so, brother. Have fun.
Bye.